always what you try to avoid.
Yeah.
I think Baker has more than he has games played, but last week, obviously, one gets taken away in the end zone, and it's kind of a bizarre one. But just in general, when you guys take care of the ball, it goes without saying you win.
Totally. We knew, that was the key going into that game. They hadn't really turned it over much. And going into that atmosphere, obviously, understanding what the ramifications are of the game, you're not trying to play tight, but you're also knowing that, minor mistakes or major mistakes could hurt the team. And, I thought he did a pretty good job overall of taking care of the ball. And then the one in the end zone, everybody's doing this, and then you come out of it, and it's going the other way. That was a critical time in the game, obviously. There was about 6 minutes and 40 seconds left or so, and we don't score, and then that's the next drive, right? The defense has the interception in their hands. They don't, get that one, and then we end up, obviously fumbling at the end of the game when we're just need a field goal to go win it. So, extremely disappointing to turn the ball over as much as we have, and it's something that is going to take a long, hard look in the offseason.
Rachaad lost the fumble, but would you rather Baker just he doesn't give up on the play? Would you rather he just take the sack?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe we had an opportunity to potentially throw it away. They did a good job of bringing a pressure that they hadn't given us all game. So in his defense, I don't think he saw the nickel pressuring in that situation where you hope you can just maybe get the ball out of bounds to the left side where the concept started over there. He saw that it was somewhat covered over here. He went to come back right, and there's a guy in his face. That's good scheme by them, and we probably just need to, internal clock, hey, maybe just make a play and get it out of bounds and play second down and 10. He's going to compete to the end, which I appreciate and wouldn't want it many other ways, and it didn't bounce our way.
Is it really tough for Baker because he has made a lot of those hero plays
Yeah.
do work, but are there times where he needs to throw the ball way more than he does? And balance that?
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell him what to do when he's playing. It's really I've never really got into that with a quarterback in terms of forcing that down their throat, because I'm not the one playing the game. We can educate, we can talk through scenarios, show different scenarios around the league and talk through them. At the end of the day, that's not why we lost the game.
Is there a commonality at all with Rachaad White? I know that he's lost a couple fumbles this year. Is there a commonality that you're observing there?
I think you look at that last play and you say, maybe ball security might be a little bit of an issue there where, he's trying to make a play in what we would call, almost desperation time. It was a, off-schedule, scramble-ish type play that he gets it to him. He's fighting for extra yards. The ball's out here, and he never gets it back into his body. So, we practice ball security. We talk about it. It's part of our core fundamental values on offense, and right now it's not showing up.
Jalen McMillan almost had that touchdown, but you got to credit for making a pro play on that. But and you've seen in college and in the NFL that jump that you make in the weight room, from year 1 to year 2 can be significant. Is that something that you're looking for Jalen in the offseason?
Yeah.
Get bigger and
That's kind of been a discussion since we drafted him. Was just saying, hey, how do we get you to be as physically strong going into this thing, knowing how long this season is, what it does, especially to rookies at a young age coming in, and how long it is and how grueling these things are on these guys. So big off-season project for sure. He understands that. He's echoed that, not just because of that one play, just in general, and I think it'll help him moving forward for sure.
When you guys started the game, the offense was pretty pass-heavy, had some empty sets there at the first part, and then eventually kind of switched more to the running area a little bit later. What kind of went into the way that you started off the game play-calling-wise, and when did you kind of realize you needed to switch over to the run?
Yeah, it was more like a couple times when Micah came out. We were trying to take a couple opportunities when he was out of the game. Got a couple penalties on some of those, which at the end of the day hurt us. The second play of the game, I believe, we had a run called. Baker checked out of it to throw it, and we ended up getting a hold, I believe, on the second play of the game. So that wasn't ideal. And then, we go for it on fourth down, have the guy open, don't catch it, and go into it, and that was our first drive of the game. So we knew we wanted to run the football. We didn't want to throw it as many times as it became that kind of game when you're down 20-3. You might need to throw it a little bit to get involved, and that's just kind of the way the game went.
Do you get a sense of urgency or even maybe a little bit more locked in the mood knowing that you gotta win now?
Yeah, I thought we had a really good week of practice even last week, going into last week. I mean, I think we've had 5 good weeks of practice, honestly. And, I think Todd does a really good job of letting these guys understand what is at stake without it being like an insurmountable task. He brings it up, we talk about it, but these guys are they're mature enough, obviously. They're grown enough to understand what is at stake, and that we don't have a lot of wiggle room anymore.
With Sterling out, who do you need to step in?
Yeah, I think, Ryan Miller will step up, into one of those roles there, obviously, who's, every time he's kind of called upon has made some plays and plays hard, does what we ask him to do, and he's made some plays. You hope Cam Johnson continues to progress, hopefully. And then those other guys, Rock and Trey. Trey makes a big catch on the over route later in the game. And really the core needs to continue to step up and help Mike out in some ways. And they've done that. They've played better. But, we had a couple balls hit our hands last week and didn't make those plays, which we need to make.
You got into 2-minute mode, and that means Rachaad White for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But you played both running backs, but I don't think Bucky had a touch after like about 9 minutes to go in the game. Just in general, how much would you like to that's the whole game?
Yeah, I would obviously like to get him more touches, how good he is. It was more of a throw, just like hand it off to keep him honest type thing. It wasn't really all right, hey, we're huddle calling designed plays at that moment. So, the screen game was, we were hitting some screens. We had some, but the way the thing was going was just like very much pass heavy. And we just, at the time felt better about Rachaad being in there for protection, check downs. He makes people miss in space. He's, our best protector. Definitely want to get Bucky more carries and touches as you go, for sure.
We didn't ask this for a couple weeks, but you've had 2 opportunities to meet with Tom Brady before the game, both times here at AJ. Just from somebody with your roots up in that area, I assume you're a Patriots fan, a Brady fan, what's that like, and how were those interactions?
Oh, man, I mean, Nelson gave me one of the best gifts I've ever had, which is, signed picture of he and I together, and that's, that means more to me than he probably knows. And, just listening to somebody's experiences and learning from him, even in those short conversations, you can learn so much from just the way he attacks things, the way he approaches the game, how he sees things. Just you can learn from anybody. It's like, talking to another coach essentially. So, love having those conversations from a fan, but also from a coach, and trying to gather information as much as possible. Just super supportive so far, and really wants to see us do as well as possible.
He's been really complimentary of your work, which
has
to make you feel a certain type of way, especially considering the way you grew up really admiring him.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. You always want to put the best product out on the field, for sure, and to have somebody that obviously you looked up to as a kid, acknowledge that work, I guess you could say, and appreciate kind of what we're doing. That's pretty cool.
What did you learn from the first Carolina game playing against these guys defensively?
Yeah, I think, just their coverage structures, just some of the different things, the nuances. How do we really want to try to go at it? I think obviously we ran it pretty well the first time around. Some of their coverages got us a little bit in some instances with the quarterback and the reads, and just trying to define some of those a little bit more. Really dove a little bit more into how they're playing us a little bit maybe differently than some other teams in some ways. So I think we just really did a better job this week, or not a better job, but just when you play somebody the first time, you get a little bit of an opportunity to study it more, see it, dive into it. I think we just have a little bit better idea of maybe some of the things that are going on out there. And and maybe how they want to play us maybe a little bit differently than some other teams.
What about specifically the way they were defending you guys in the red zone?
Yeah.
Because scoring was
Yeah.
certainly at a premium in that game.
Yeah, they played, a little bit more post-middle safety there and played a little, kind of softer. They've always kind of dared you to say you're going to run it in. I mean, that's what a lot of people are doing now. We're playing a little bit softer in the back end, still trying to fit a safety in maybe a little bit later in the down, trying to say you're going to run the football in the end zone. So, yeah, points are definitely going to be at a premium, especially this week, and, we got to start fast.
Couple more. Chance to get his first real look in the Bucs offense this season. How do you think he did filling in for K-Dot, and what do you see his role being going forward?
Yeah, I think Payne did some nice things. I think he's always really locked into what we're trying to do, very attentive, detail-oriented, plays hard. I think he needs to continue to play with a little bit lower pad level because he is such a tall guy. He has a hard time at times playing with low pads and getting underneath himself and playing from an athletic position. But I thought he did some nice things and can continue to grow from this experience and continue to get more reps as we go, knowing that, he's probably, most likely going to be the Y, moving forward.
It's not just the offense, it's the defense too, but when you hear the stats like 8-1 when you guys score first and 0-6 when you don't,
yeah.
How crazy of a stat is that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'd heard something like that, a couple of days ago or something. But, yeah, it's a little telling, I guess you could say, where, we always talk about starting fast. Always. That doesn't mean the game's over because we didn't start fast. So I don't think our players feel that way, but it's certainly, I guess you could say, looks that way on paper, but I don't think that's the way it is. I mean, that game got a little bit, funky. We go down, they score, we go down, fourth down, drop a pass, don't score. And it was just one of those games. I got to credit, Dallas for some of the things they did against us, and we obviously didn't coach or play our best football. That's been the case, I guess you could say, but it's not something that I don't think we feel as a group or anybody panics when that occurs. It's just one of those things that's kind of occurred this year, but definitely something that we can continue to kind of hammer home with the guys and continue to be just a little bit more accountable to and diligent towards that process of, okay, we don't score first, they do. What happens? Just keep playing the next play, see what happens, and play your tail off till the whistle blows at the end of the game.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.